Future home sellers, empty nesters, do not walk into your closing at settlement day losing 20 to 30,000 and not really have any idea what happened. Because I've watched lots of deals, hundreds, where sellers thought they were getting a great price only to get absolutely hit hard and demolished during the inspection period. What nobody's telling you, by the time the buyer's inspector shows up, you've really already lost. You're negotiating from a position of weakness, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. So I have some good news here. There's a way to flip this entire game in your favor. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Plus, if you stick around until the end, I'm going to break down, I would say, the one repair that buyers will pay you more, just money not to fix. They'll just pay you more money because they don't want you to fix it. Let's dive in, and you've got to listen to this. It's really, really important. So picture this, you list your house. You don't use a pre-home inspection like I talk about in my book on selling sharps. It looks absolutely amazing. I don't need a home inspection, and you get an offer and it's asking price, maybe even above. You start celebrating. You've already mentally moved, start packing, and then the buyer has their inspection. And what most sellers don't realize, selling as is, they say, well, here's my seller's disclosure. I'm selling the house as is. Doesn't mean you're off the hook if the repairs come up under the inspection. It just means you're giving up all your negotiating power, because the buyer's inspector, if they find issues, and they will find issues, that's what their job is. And then not only do they find issues, then in the inspection report itself, the inspector, who's not a contractor, gives his 2 cents and says, here's what's going to cost to fix these items. $500 to $2,000, big range. And when it actually can fix maybe for $200, they actually give numbers 3 times the amount in most cases, just to cover their butts, you know? That's what they do. And so at this point of the game, after the inspection, you have 3 options. That's it, 3 options. First option, you can make the repairs under pressure, you know? Scramble around, get quotes, hiring whoever's available. And guess what? Contractors know when you're desperate. They've increased their repair costs 30 to 40% because they see sellers are in panic mode. Now, my contractors don't do that. All my sellers do a pre-home inspection, so we don't have that issue. I'm just preparing you why you should do a home inspection before you list your house, okay? This is so important. The second option, you can give a credit to any of the repairs that they find. Sounds good, right? No, not good, because you're giving money based on the buyer's inspector's estimates, or maybe their contractor comes in and they're always inflated. What if they have their sister's uncle come in and say that they're going to do these repairs, and they're going to jack them up to make it so that you have to give them more money? That's what they do. So a $2,000 repair, they might ask for $5,000. So you need to get estimates to make sure you're not giving away the store. Even though you have your lower cost estimate, it's better to find the problem ahead of time and give a credit for the estimate that you have given them before they buy the house, right? And option number 3, they could just refuse everything and watch the buyer walk. You can do that. Now you have to disclose all the issues to the next buyer. You lose momentum, and your home is that property that kind of fell off the market. It's not good to have like back on market. All these agents, when they have this happen, they put back on market in the remarks. I don't know where they got their marketing skills from, but that's not a good thing to do. Now, the emotional part there that nobody talks about is the stress. They're waiting for the inspection report. Sellers tell me they're losing their sleep, they can't eat, they're just waiting for something else to happen. There's all that going on as well. When you're waiting for the inspection report to come back, sometimes it's like waiting for test results that you know might be bad. So that's why we nip it in the butt and have a pre-home inspection. Because the National Association of Realtors says that homes with pre-listing inspections sell for 5 to 7% more. I think it's more than that. And they also say they close 24 days faster. I think it's way more than that. Because when you hire a real deal realtor like myself, we sell homes maybe 2 days, and the average right now in our area is like 85 days. So it's a lot more than 24 days faster. So on a $400,000 house, that could be up to $28,000 more in your pocket just for spending the $500 or $600 upfront for an inspection. That is insane return on investment. The pre-listing inspection, it just flips the script entirely. You control the narrative. You make strategic decisions on your timeline. You walk into negotiations with confidence instead of fear. I do as a real deal realtor. I've used the same inspector now for 20 years. He really digs deep. He goes so deep, sometimes my sellers get upset that even he comes in, but the buyer respects that. They respect it. They see the report like, wow, they really dug hard into this house. I feel more confident to give you more money, right? Next, let's talk about the silent killers. I think the big ones are foundation and framing. They're silent because buyers hear the word foundation problems and they absolutely panic. They walk. So let's talk about foundation. What about those foundation? Well, there's cracks, right, in the foundation. They usually tell a story. And the one thing about foundation cracks, they're actually super common. And that's what I tell my buyers. I tell them, here's the ones that are bad ones, here's the ones that are not bad ones. They all have them, all houses. Not all cracks are created equal. And that's where I think it gets a little more interesting, because you can have a hairline crack less than an eighth, say an eighth inch wide, usually just a cosmetic settling. Houses settle, concrete shrinks. It's what happens, right? But the cracks you need to look out for and watch for are the horizontal cracks that can indicate, say, soil pressure against the foundation. This is a bad kind, guys. Or stair step cracks in brick or block. He suggests like foundation movement, very concerning. Cracks wider than 1/4 inch, especially if they're growing. Super red flag. Cracks with a displacement where one side is higher than the other. That needs serious attention. So the problem is when a buyer's inspector notes foundation cracks without context, buyers are wondering, what does that mean? Even in the seller's pre-listing inspection, they say it. It's going to be said. Buyers then start imagining the house like splitting in half. They don't know. I've seen many transactions fall apart over completely normal settling cracks because the seller didn't have documentation. So what you should do, if you find the foundation crack in the pre-home inspection, you have time now to get an estimate, or first find out whether, or 2 or 3 estimates, and then market the property. But first, you want to have somebody come out first and state that the structural engineer, and say, hey, it might cost $500, say. He'll come out and say, here's a report. They'll tell you if it's cosmetic or serious. If it's cosmetic, then you get that in writing and it's done. Saved your deal. And if it's serious, you fix it and document everything. Now you're in control. So you always get pre-home inspection ahead of time, get these things completed before you put the house on the market. And the other silent killer, framing. Framing's pretty subtle. When you look at it, it's kind of sneaky because they often show up on secondary symptoms, such as like doors that suddenly stick or they won't close properly. You've seen that before. It could indicate the house is settling or there's a foundation movement. Or maybe you see gaps between walls and ceiling or floors. Not just bad caulking, this could mean more like a structural shifting. Or have you been in a house where it's sloping, where the floors are sagging? If you walk through your house with a marble, does it roll? That's the question. And if you do, you might have floor joists that are compromised. Or there's the cracks appearing in the corners of the doors and windows. This is where stress shows up first when the framing shifts. Things like that. So what most people don't know, a lot of the framing issues stem from one 5-letter word called water. So something to look at. I know when I get into a house and the floors are uneven, I can feel it, right? So I feel it in my brain. I feel sloping floors. I just feel it. Maybe because I've been in real estate all my life with my father since I was 5, walking around construction sites and the model homes he built. Being a custom home builder, he'd build homes on people's lots. And it was really good to have that background going into real estate. And then the most underestimated problem, I think, in home inspections is water intrusion. The 5-letter word, water. It's a structural destroyer, I think. It's an enemy. It's an absolute enemy on your home structure. It causes more damage than almost anything else. And the scary part is often hidden until it's expensive. What signs can you look out for? Musty smells in basements or crawl spaces. That means the 4-letter word, mold, M-O-L-D, which means moisture, or staining on ceilings or walls. Even old stains need to be investigated. So when you have your room-by-room review, we take you through your house and we look at everything. We look at things the inspector would find and do the work, a lot of the work before the inspector arrives. Fix that problem in the ceiling and the staining, and then paint the ceiling and disclose it in the seller's disclosure. That's the proper way to do it. Don't leave the stain there on your ceiling, even though you fixed it. Get the ceiling painted and then disclose. Or you've been around probably wood that is soft and spongy. If you press on windowsills, door frames, or subfloors, if it gives way, you've got possible water damage. Open all the windows before the inspector will. Go through the entire home, find all the bad stuff and make it good stuff before the inspector comes. Or maybe you have peeling paint or bubbling wallpaper. Sometimes moisture gets trapped behind there. The EPA estimates that 50% of homes have some moisture problem, but only 10% of sellers know about it before they list their house. So that's why the pre-listing inspection catches this before a buyer's inspector does. And why does that matter? Well, again, before you get to control how it's fixed, how much it costs, and document it. You're not explaining away someone else's scary inspection report. Got it? Really important. Now, another part I was thinking about talking about is behind the walls. Big three. What's the big three behind the walls, guys? Roof, plumbing, and electrical. Your roof, well, the average roof, lasts 20 to 25 years. But here's what really bothers me here. Most people have no idea how old their roof is. And if you bought the house with that roof, you need to find out. Go back and look at your seller's disclosure when you bought the house. Or my sellers will say, oh, I paid for 30-year shingles. Well, I have a warranty. And then they pull it out and the people are out of business. It happens a lot. So what do you look for when you have roofs? If you have missing or damaged shingles, you can just walk around your house, look up. Do you see bare spots or curling edges? That is something that anybody can see. So you can fix it before the inspector comes over and before the buyers come in. Or maybe there's granules in the gutters. Who's going to clean your gutters usually before you put your house on the market? You should do it a couple of times a year. These little sand-like particles, granules, protect the shingles. And if you're seeing a lot of them in your gutters, that means your roof is deteriorating, guys. Okay? Let's check them out. Or the flashing around the chimneys and vents comes up on almost every home inspection report. It's not that hard to fix. This is where all the leaks start. A rusty or damaged flashing is a huge red flag. Let's get that out of the way. Or if you've ever seen a sagging roof line, just stand across the street and you look. You can see it in the drone photos that your realtor takes. You know, your real deal realtor should be taking drone photos. Your roof line should be straight. If it sags, you might have structural issues. And the money part of it, a new roof is expensive. It's $8,000 to $15,000 on a normal size house. If a buyer's inspector flags your roof, they're going to ask for the high end of that range. But if you know about it ahead of time, you have options. Get 3 quotes and choose the best, or replace just the damaged sections, or get a roof cert and saying it's still in good shape, or price your home accounting for that and disclose it up front. There's so much you can do. The last listing I had, not last listing, but one in June, needed a roof with an estimate for $12,000. We priced the home very well, and we were giving them plus we were giving them a credit. We ended up with $40,000 more than listed price, and they didn't ask for the roof credit. So when you kind of divulge things, people love that, and they don't tend to forget about it. And when you have the inspection report, you stage it nice, you price it well, it brings in more buyers and gets you the value of the home or more. That's how we sell the houses quickly for top dollar. Knowledge saves you thousands. Really important. And the next is the plumbing. My gosh, it's like a hidden time bomb. This old plumbing in some of the houses is a silent killer of most real estate transactions. Take a look at the type of pipes there are. Are there galvanized pipes, pre-1960 homes? They corrode from the inside out. You can't see it until water pressure drops or they burst. Or you have polybutylene pipes, 1970s, 1990s. They were recalled. They fail. If you have them, you need to disclose that. Or sewer line issues. This is a big one. But a sewer scope, $200, $400, it can reveal a $3,000 to $15,000 in problems. And it could be tree limbs growing underground and blocking the pipes. I had a client who skipped the sewer scope because I told him there was trees out front, you should get one. The buyer found it, collapsed sewer line because of the limbs underneath growing. During the inspection, repair was $12,000. The buyer asked for $15,000. They wanted a cushion. But my client just spent $300 on a scope and fixed it for $12,000. They could have saved the $3,000 and maintained their negotiating power. That's how that works. The next thing is about draining and grading, like the drainage of the property, the foundation protector, really overlooked. It comes up on most all inspections because your yard's grading is critical. Water should flow away from your house and your foundation, not toward it. So walk around your house after, during it's raining. Where does the water go? Do you see it pooling near the foundation? Now that's a problem. Get it away from the foundation. Because over time, that causes foundation issues, basement flooding, structural damage. There's many simple fixes here, so don't get worried. You can regrade the soil to slope it away from the house. You can extend your downspouts. That's cheap. Get an extender at least 6 feet from the foundation, or you can install French drains if something is really leaking. These types of fixes are inexpensive, $500, $3,000, but could prevent $10,000 plus in foundation repairs down the line. And lastly, electrical. Gosh, that is a wild card. Electrical issues just freak buyers out. They scream safety hazard. We always fix this before showings. Most electrical issues always get fixed. It makes buyers feel more comfortable. What are some of the problems there? Well, we have outdated panels. Make sure you don't have the Federal Pacific or Zinsco panel. They're fire hazards. If you have one, buyers will know about it. Or the aluminum wiring, common in 60s and 70s, 1960s and 70s. Fire risk, and insurance companies don't like it, so let's get that out or take a look at that. Missing GFCI outlets required in kitchens and bathrooms within 6 feet of water and exterior areas. That's big and comes up on every inspection. Or overloaded circuits comes up on almost every inspection. You might have flickering lights, frequently tripping breakers. That needs addressing. Panel upgrades cost like $1,500 to $3,000. GFC outlets, $75, a couple $100. But when a buyer's inspector writes fire hazard in the report, buyers walk or demand way more than the actual repair cost. So make sure we get the inspection done, get this done, and then state exactly what repairs you're going to do. So how do I do this inspection? What's my playbook here? You're convinced you have to have one. This is how your real deal realtor should be doing this. They should know how to do this. First, you want to choose your inspector really wisely. Don't go with the cheapest inspector. You want someone who has at least 5 years experience, who's licensed and insured. That's non-negotiable. Has great reviews from multiple sources. Someone who will let you walk through with them. And most importantly, knows how to do a listing pre-inspection. Ask how many pre-inspections they have done versus just inspection for buyers. It's very important. Just like you want your agent selling your home to be a listing-based business, a real deal agent who has a listing-based business and only works with listings and be an expert in it. Same with the inspector, someone who has done these things before. Because a good inspection is at $400 to $700, depends on the size of the house. A thorough one might save you 20 grand. Do the math. Second thing, just be there for the inspection. Walk around with them, ask questions, get context. And when they point something out, ask, how serious is this? What's a typical fix? Because here's the thing, inspectors have to note everything, but not everything is a big deal. Context matters. Make sure someone is there who can field the inspector's questions when they ask, because you know this house better than anybody else. You can tell them, no, that's not what you think, it's this, okay? Very important. Step 3 is to decode the report. That's where the strategy lies, not in getting just the inspector in, but reading over the report and deciding on which repairs you're going to fix before that goes on the market, or ones that you will fix before settlement. Because these inspection reports are very intimidating. They're long, technical, kind of seem scary. And what you want to do is break it down into some categories. Like, for example, must fix are safety in major systems like electrical, roof, the plumbing, the structural things I was telling you about with the structural engineer. You should fix significant but not urgent and aging HVAC systems, minor roof repairs, plumbing updates, electrical code updates. I think those things are ones that need to be considered and looked at, and you really should fix them. Now, next, and there's others repairs that you might consider, like cosmetic or minor, cracked tiles, loose handrails, minor drywall repairs, cosmetic wear, not so much. Here's the things I mentioned in the beginning, not necessary to do, and buyers, it won't add value, and buyers will say, don't fix this, like normal settling or age-appropriate wear, things that cost more to fix than the value they add. Sometimes the buyers don't care about that. They rather see the report and they feel like, okay, well, the seller didn't think it was that bad. I don't think so either. Don't fix it. I'll handle it. It's amazing how this home inspection report just turns into a love, where the buyers start loving the seller and for all that they've done to the house. It's pretty amazing how it works out. And step 4, strategic repairs. The pro move is to fix what scares buyers. That's what I always say. Things that involve words like safety, structural, water damage, fix those. Everything else, evaluate just on a case-by-case basis. Get everything documented, receipts done by licensed professionals, and then create a binder. Buyers love this. A pre-listing inspection report binder, all the repair receipts, warranties for the work, permits and certificates of completion. This level of organization is so impressive to buyers. It screams professional seller. You took care of the home, and they love it. That's why in our MLS, there's a download section of all the documents where we allow the buyers also to look at the information, not just the agents. Yeah, that's what we do. Then they get the information ahead of time. Ideally, really all this information is kind of useless if you don't have the right real deal agent executing the strategy with you. I get it. Finding a great agent is really tough. That's why I've created my agent referral program. Now, I know agents all over the country who actually understand pre-listing inspections and strategic selling. People who will fight for you, not just list your house and hope for the best. So if you need help finding an agent in your area, just go to realdealagent.com. I personally, my team and I, vet every agent in the network and match you with someone who's going to treat you right, actually knows what they're doing. Even if you have somebody you're thinking about, even though they sell houses in the neighborhood, doesn't mean they're great agents and they're real deal agents. People just keep word of mouth. I mean, sometimes most people go through a transaction and don't realize how much they lost because they just thought they don't know any better. You don't know what you don't know in choosing a realtor. Don't let that happen to you. I went all over this past weekend at my home seller seminar. It's live. You can see it here on YouTube. It was a great time. Because the real truth is a great agent is worth a commission 10 times over. A bad one's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars in mistakes. So don't leave it to chance. Head to realdealagent.com. Let me help you find the right person. It doesn't cost you anything. Basically, the pre-home inspection gives buyers peace of mind. They feel confident. They feel like you've taken care of the house. And also, you're not going to be lying awake all night wondering if the buyer is going to do another inspection. If they do, you don't really care. You're not going to have these panic attacks waiting for the buyer's inspector to come back with repair lists. You're confident and you were honest with them. Peace of mind is really priceless. Most of my sellers who fight me after we get the pre-home inspection done, and I get done and we make them lots of money, they said it was the best money ever spent in the entire selling process. Not because of what I found, but because of the stress it eliminated usually. Basically, having a pre-home inspection saved you a lot of money, just a lot of money. The bottom line is selling your home is one of the biggest financial moves you'll ever make. It's your largest asset. Why would you go into it blind? It's crazy. Like I said earlier, pre-listing inspection, $400 to $700, save you $20,000 to $30,000. That's a pretty good return on investment. And it also gives your realtor and yourself control, confidence, and leverage when it matters the most. Your realtor will then be able to negotiate in your behalf with no surprises, no stress, smoother sale. But one thing I want to tell you, before you grab your toolbox thinking you're going to fix everything yourself, which is not recommended, watch the next video, DIY at home fails that cost 5 figures. That's right. After 30 years in real estate, I've seen what happens when weekend projects go wrong, load-bearing walls gone, duct tape, plumbing, electrical fires. Trust me, some repairs are better left to the pros.